It's Thursday again. It's that time where we talk justice and we get to put perspective to living your rights. Nake Mosotho Stone, leperile, ra go amogela, siya go amogela kulo hlelo. And if you want to speak to us, do that on 0800 142 446. 0800 142 446. That's the, in fact, it's 0800 314 446. It's 0800 314 446. That's the number to dial if you want to engage us tonight in the studio. Tonight we are talking child maintenance as one of those topics that have come through almost the third time now, because there's quite a lot of issues that need to be ironed out in terms of the relationship between parents who need to actually give adequate support, parenting, and care to this innocent soul called a child. So now, let's talk about it and to raise awareness on the importance of paying child maintenance and not just make it a dirty money issue or a dirty mommy money issue. And also to unpack the Maintenance Act, which was amended, Act number 9 of 2015, and to highlight the improvements as well brought about by the Maintenance Amendment Act, and to raise awareness as well on various efforts by the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development to improve the maintenance system in the country, and to educate as well each other about the experiences that we have from Limpopo to KwaZulu-Natal to Northwest to Northern Cape. People have different issues as per where they're living and per the circumstances. So let's be open about these things so that we take South Africa forward in terms of child maintenance. Let me introduce my guest tonight. She's the Chief Family Advocate in the Office of the Family Advocate. Yenake Advocate Petunia Siabi Matope. Me Rahodumedisa, welcome to this program tonight, and thank you so much more for coming over to share insight with us.
Good evening, and thank you very much for having me. It is always a pleasure to participate in this informative program of yours.
And as usual, we bring you abundance of information through Advocate Petunia Siabi Matope. You also can speak any South African language. We will be able to find each other somewhere, somehow. Speak any of the 11 languages, starting from English right up to anyone that you speak. We'll be able to put something together and understand each other at that point. Maybe let's just start, Mayor Petunia, with the... We know what child maintenance is. Now, the challenges are our different perspectives in terms of how we understand it. One parent might be thinking it's a punitive way of, I'll punish him.
Yeah.
The other one looks at it an opportunity to make sure that the child grows without hindrance of issues that are outside their development. Making sure that I become the parent that I need to be, even though I'm living in Cape Town, Limpopo, things are the same and all that stuff. Now, let's put it into a perspective, a legal perspective of what child maintenance is.
I think the way you summed it up is 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
There is a perception which we need to change, which is critical. Maintenance is not just about the money.
Yes.
Maintenance is actually the right of a child. It is about a child. It is about the parents' liability to raise a child that they together have brought into the world.
Yes.
So parents should not be seeing maintenance as a commercial transaction where it is just about the money, how much the claimant wants to have, and how much the respondent can afford to pay. The child should also be in the center of the discussion. I think the right way to start maintenance is what are the needs of the child. And both parents must embrace that the child has got needs, and it is up to them to share and participate together to meet the needs of the child. So please, South Africa, forget about maintenance being a commercial transaction. Maintenance is about the child. And whenever you have discussions about maintenance, whether it is about recovering arrears or whether it is about determining how much is payable, the child must be central to your discussion. If the child is not there, and it is about your dispute or the issues that you have between yourselves as parents, then you are on the wrong footing. You are not discussing child maintenance. You are discussing other things.
Hore ke tlo kry-a.
Hey, those are the things that we see on a daily basis.
You know, to say, gape last time ga wa ntsha tšhelete, so o tla o tlo batla go bona ngwana, you're not seeing the kid. And you find that the grandparents and all those are involved in the picture, the traditional way of doing things where probably people were married and then all of a sudden, ngwana na ntse a nna kwa gogo. So you find that and one parent is frustrated by the processes of having to access the kid. It might be from the male side or from the female side. These things happen either way.
It happens either way.
Yeah. So in terms of the Child Maintenance Act, that Act of number 9 of 2015, let's just orientate people on how it works and what is it exactly.
It has simplified a number of things for the court users. It makes the maintenance system a lot less complex and more accessible. When an applicant wants to get maintenance for a child, the child must be in their care, and the person on the other side of the table must be a person that is legally liable to maintain the child. Where the person that is directly legally liable is not available or for whatever reason not able to maintain the child, then there are next of kin that can be looked at to help with the maintenance of the child. And that is why I was emphasizing at the beginning that maintenance is about the right of the child.
That's the voice here. May Advocate Petunia Siabi Matope. She's our guest tonight and imparting a lot of information with us. And we would like you to call in on 0800 314 446. Thank you to Mfundo, who's based in Cape Town. He'll be taking your calls and bringing them over to Pretoria, where I am, Le Me Petunia, to discuss this. And maybe while we're waiting for callers, in the background while we were sitting that side, Me Petunia, we talked about a new trend and a new issue of our foreign nationals who are having kids with the locals. Either or female or male, you end up actually having a kid with somebody coming from another country, and you are not able to facilitate child maintenance either by lodging a complaint of saying I'm not getting anything support from this foreign national person, or the foreign national person is a female who wants child maintenance and support from the male who is local. Let's speak to that one.
Absolutely. You know, you've touched on a very thorny issue which is busy unfolding in large numbers right now in the courts and in the offices of the family advocate as well. You know, the world has become a village.
Yes.
But what we want to advise people is that when you get into a relationship with a person from another country, remember that South African law will not apply all the time when things start breaking down.
Yes.
And what we are seeing now, which is very, very painful, is that people expect that the Constitution of South Africa will apply even beyond the borders of South Africa. Remember, in our Constitution, we've got things like equality of persons. We have rights of people being guaranteed and so on in Chapter 2 of the Constitution. Now you leave the borders of South Africa, you cannot enforce that. So if that national, for instance, what we are seeing is foreign nationals take children
Yes.
to their mothers in those foreign countries and come back to South Africa and live their normal lives. And when the left behind parent comes to our offices and say, my child has been taken to country X and I cannot access that child, and here is the guy, he lives 2 or 3 streets away from me, and we're saying, you know, it is a long, convoluted legal process. People do not understand. Even if we can take that person to a South African court and get a court order that says you should not have done X, you should not have done Y, and you must do A and B.
Yes.
That order is only enforceable in South Africa. The moment that person is on the wrong side of the borders of South Africa, that court order is not as good as not being there.
But maybe
so
let me be
what we
practical with
require
it.
is get the South African court order. Once that South African court order is in your hands, go to that country where your child is, get an order which says, yes, we will recognize the South African order, or get another different order. Because a South African court order is only applicable in South Africa.
Yeah.
So please be warned out there. When you get involved with a foreign national, even if you marry them, you must understand the laws of the countries that they came from and do your own assessment. Should the relationship break down, how is it going to impact on you? Should you have children, how is it going to impact on your children? Should you require maintenance for your children after this foreign national has gone back to their country? What is the likely process to be involved? Because in other countries, if the person is not living with the child, they are beyond our reach. Yeah, we cannot touch them.
All right. As much as South Africa has got one of the best constitutions in the world, it does not actually precede over other countries. That's the clarity I'm getting from Advocate Advocate Siabi Matope. Maybe putting it into a real perspective, we had a lot of our people who were fighting for the struggle, who were living in different countries in Malawi, Tanzania, and all those. And you find that, do you really have to go back there? And isn't there any other way where there's interrelation legal-wise between the countries? Or maybe, because we hear about the bilaterals, we hear about this memorandum of understandings and all those kind. In a legal fraternity and framework, don't we have provision, basically, do you have any other countries that will say, okay, South Africa, me and you will start working towards, because you already have this model, which I believe... somebody told me that it's one of the best models that we have in terms of child maintenance in South Africa. Are we able to share with them and actually convince or maybe encourage a working together of some sort based on this small village, global village that we have created for ourselves?
There are a number of, we call them treaties, that we have signed with certain countries. In the maintenance environment, we have the Reciprocal Enforcement of Maintenance Act, but it applies to you see, such treaties also apply to those countries that are prepared to sign them. And because it is a negotiated agreement between two sovereign governments.
That's right.
The legal system of the country which is being requested to intervene applies. So very often we find when we receive a request from another country that we are contracted with, we apply South African law, we apply our constitution, our courts apply the standards of our own law. But very many of the countries that we contracted with are not able to reciprocate. Because if a South African child is sitting in their country, they apply their own law.
I can
yes,
imagine.
they will receive the request that we sent to them, but they will deal with it as they can, or in accordance with their own laws.
So basically, the DRC constitution might not deal with it the same way that the UK constitution deals with, as opposed to South Africa and all these other ones. Anyway, let me get to the calls. I got 2 calls. One is Patco. Patco le kamre.
Amnati le guy.
Amnati ntate.
Amrena. Leperile.
Leperile mre. Minjani. I like South Africa. It's a very beautiful country with its beautiful languages indeed. Yes. Okay, mrena. And that.
Umbuzo wami uqala ne that the consent ke batho ba sebetsa ona mona ka jarete mona utakalanye ne unalindate yena ufumana hore motho ya utlwana le ba sebetsa company ya EPWP mongwe o sebetsa EPWP ne
yes EPWP
abantu ba sebetsa EPWP ne ufumana hore a o phela kgwedi ndate o kentse o support I can do support on that tell kana ka 1,000 rand for support ngwana a qeta a tsontsha 400 rand for dijo tsa ngwana e ka ba ntwenu e molao na I tsama because we are so maintenance court.
So basically you are saying is there a standard fee or something that needs to be put in place, or is it there already, right Palco, if I understand? Okay.
And then ya baby strata o teba go bane hore o dula le motho ka tlung a o qeta o dula le motho ka tlung o na le ngwana le yena a di tsoka o bateng dikwaketsano kapo le qabana o fumana hore no mofumadi kapo nyanyaula ye ka tlung o kenya o maintenance ile hore wena o tlamelo support ngwana ka tlung o tlo supporta yena a o qeta o tlo reka dintho mo ka tlung o fana le yena wa sebetsa a ona nix yena a etsang ke botsa ka baby yena. And then put a gabraro of Manoveno, okay, who can do maintenance. Usapota one for the past 15 to 18 years. One had cut out grade 12 for school, Utoblo and that. I think one how you know, one abokan. I would say to the blood test is in Ukafela, one of that native one hour to Aga. A government visual, it was one.
You create Morana Patco. Tswara hanyane jwalo advocate o batla ho etsa follow up question to you.
Scenario sa pele se no bua ka sona hore ho kena 1,000 rand ko maintenance.
Yes.
And then 400 rand o entse jwang?
400 rand ntho e tsalang o tswa ke tšhelete for dijo tsa ngwana.
E patelwa separate from the from the 1,000.
E patelwa separate.
Ko kae e patelwa ko kae ho mang?
Inewa me e wa ngwana.
Oh, okay. Ba dula kaofela?
Ba dula kaofela. E mong o dula location le leng, e mong o dula location le leng. O mong o sebetsa EPWP, e mong o sebetsa CWP.
Oh, okay. Maybe se mmena ka setsa ke hore ka haibaneng the 1,000 rand e nyenyane high cover di hloko tsa ngwana kaofela a ye maintenancing a yo etsa increase kapa a ke tsebe or ho na le kutlwano mahareng a bona about ka this additional 400 rand or jwang, because ntate ha patela maintenance ho no tshwanetse gabe go calculateilwe di hloko tsa ngwana kaofela tsa kgwedi.
Bothata ntho teng mme wa ngwananyana o involve ke ena influencer go etsa lentwe
nkgono wa ngwana mma go mosadi
ke ena influencer go etsa lentwe
so e re ntate a thole clarity hore ba hloka ho court through the maintenance or ba batla hore maintenance o tsamaye letsohong. Then haebe o tsamaya letsohong ntate a se ka tloella fela a ye ka mo le court a yo cancel maintenance order. because
Ee.
phoso e nngwe e bontate ba e etsang ke hore ha se ho utlwanwa ba tloella fela, then 2-3 years down the line di-arrears se di tsamaya bo 36,000 kwa mme wa kwata o ya ko court. Ha re kena system re kry-a le gore ka nnete ntateng tsa sa patele and di-arrears tseo tsa 36,000 di teng, then re a mo prosecutor for di-arrears tseo. So please they must decide ha ebe ba batla ho fana ko letsogong, the 1,000 rand must be cancelled, or mme ha ebe o fila gore 1,000 rand e ha ya enela ayo kopa increase. Because yeah, maybe the system is a bit confusing. Answer 1,000 rand in, then after 400 rand kulto.
Ee.
Right.
Who tlwaetse Patco, we can release you right now, ne?
Alright,
Okay, ona le tse ding.
Well, let's talk to the whole nation, advocate, including Patco, about those questions.
Engwe e sa tlweng e hlakile hantle ke ya hore batho ba sa lwaneng mara se ba kenyelane di maintenance ko court. It means gore e teng ntwa ka montlung a hutlwana a ba utlwane ka tshebediso ya tšhelete. That is how the maintenance court will come in, gore go bane le tšhelete e patalwang through the court. Otherwise, if batho ba utlwana and there is no conflict, ba kana ba fana tšhelete hantle ka hae ba utlwane hore how is the money working ka tlung, and then
Ona le botho, you know, ba khona understand na se batho ba ba nang le mafuto a dipei.
Banka di decision together around how the money works in the house.
Yes. All right. Ke tsone fela ke re advocate.
But there was a last question.
Okay.
Someone can support a child and then ngwana ha setse a godile ho bohla or it's not their child. Go ba go ya di blood testing, then they find that it's not their child. Chelete eo maybe akai recover ka civil claim from the mother or whoever what claiming maintenance a tlhaise lebaka la hore I was not liable to maintain this child, but I was made to maintain the child. But kana go tse ding o thola hore motho ha support ngwana for 15 to 18 years, now I take the child and place the child in the center, or they have formed a parent-child relationship.
Yes.
Because remember, parent-child relationships are not just blood relationships. It is also about the roles that people play in the child's life. That is why our new Children's Act highly limits the holders of parental responsibilities and rights to biological parents.
Yes.
Even third parties can be added as holders of parental responsibilities and rights because of the role only emotional attachment towards the child. The child is emotionally attached to you. The child knows you to be their parent. Now, how at this late stage, it becomes very bad for
Very
the child.
traumatic
It
indeed.
is not just about the money. You know, there is a little heart involved in the whole situation.
That's right. Okay, advocate, I am going to ask you that you start speaking to Zakhele. Zakhele? Hello, Zex? Oh, Zakhele is not on. Mfundo, okay, he's been dropped. But anyway, there's also an email. It's Osmiponi. Osmiponi is from Pretoria. She's saying, I was sent away at the maintenance court when I went to apply for increase, saying they do not have forms. And they say she must keep on coming to check if they were offline and don't know when the system will be offline. Is there a certain way of communication? Because this is an administrational challenge. Is there a way of communicating with Batswadi who are taking effort? Because Rabereka, we got Mawaka, we got once we leha one and somebody gets you there and saying the former had printed and you went from Pretoria to Johannesburg to do all this thing, Obereka mo Pretoria, but you have to do this thing in Joburg. It's an administrational issue that's a bit worrying because when we spoke about it, Liana, she was kind of like a bit more fed up. Basically on a basis there is no, they don't even take the email and saying, once our system is back online, we will send you that form and then fill it up and then bring it over. Because we, as much as we understand that government is a bit technophobic based on security of things, how do we communicate these things to the massive people, the same way that SARS would do when they want your money, the same way that the national call center line will work? How does it work when it comes to, what's the process when it comes to having to take care of the people who have to go year in, year out to go seek how much is an increase and what do they need to do?
It should definitely not have been. We are trying to reorientate our staff to be more customer focused, because even the court staff, I'm sure they do not want to go to their banks or to their municipalities to be told to go home and come back another time. That is unfair. And the Department of Justice also premises itself on access to justice and giving people a responsive justice and so on. I would say, Miponi, how ka khona hle mme ke kopa o nthumele email. I would really like to follow up on that, because we are hammering into our officials not to send people from pillar to post. How fihla court o tlo kopa thuso, o tshwanetse o ithole ha thuso eo e se teng ka tsatsing leo le o fihlileng ka lona. Somebody should have taken a fax number, an email address, and offered to send you those forms. Ba wentse hampe mme wa ka ke kopa tshwarelo ha o ka khona o ikopanya le nna re tletle re khone latella ka morao taba e ha inthabisi le wang.
Exactly. I hope we will leave an email, advocate, at the end of the show.
Yes.
And then you will be able to send that email. And also, which brings me to what you're talking about, the training of staff to actually deal with these sensitive issues, where in most cases, the issues between the parents could actually take a very wrong turn to a point where the children are suffering. But are we having officials who are well equipped to actually give support, assistance, both at an administrational level, at the counseling level, at the legal level? How does it work with the family court?
We are trying to educate our staff and to sensitize our staff. Before I came into studio, I've even seen some of I think it was on Twitter or Facebook, I can't remember, where one of our customers said, Justice, please make sure that you have sensitive officials at your service points. So we are working very hard on that. People must understand, people that come to our doors are people who are already having problems. Then we as a service provider cannot add to their problems. We must take every step possible to resolve that problem. Yes, systems sometimes go beyond what we as people control, especially when there's bad weather and rains and things. Technology tends to fail us. But you expect that a court official will say, ma'am, please give me your fax number or your email address, then I will send you the forms, not to just send people away and let them wonder what to do with themselves.
Yeah, if it's human error, I don't really have excuse for such. Everybody must earn their worth. If you are employed to do exactly what we are talking about, Leme, Advocate Petunia, please, South Africa needs you. South Africa needs you. Anyway, Zakela is back on the line. Zex?
Hello, Ninjani.
Siapila unjani, Zex? All right, you're calling us from Kanyamazane in Nelspruit. Welcome.
Yes, Kanyamazane, Ngilale Radio 107.3.
All right, thank you so very much to Kasi FM.
Umbuto wami uthi uma ngabe mhlambe ubhadala interest and then umntwana uhola i-grant. For a parent uthi keep i-maintenance, how much must I pay ukuthi umntwana angatholi i-grant, or it's allowed to ukuthi noma ngabe ukhipha malini uyayithola i-grant? Umbuto wesi-2, uma ngabe ukhipha imali ye-maintenance and then umntwana kumele anakekelwe ngathi, wakanakekelwa, wakagcokiswa, wakathengelwa kudla, le mali yamisizwa,
and then mayoripota ecourt bathi wena mbuke kahle lo mntwana nawuthi uyambukisisa futhi uyathola ukuthi letinto leyo le mali ekhiphela ikona ayikuweni le msebenzi so ngiphi step lofanele uthathe as a parent.
Yo, Zakhele, you just raised something quite very important, my brother. Thank you so much for that question. All right.
Thank you.
And then, is there anything else that you wanted to say?
For now, it's it.
For now, it's all good. Thank you so very much. What a very important question. Umuntu khole grant. Got on the other side, he's getting maintenance without fail. How do you pick that up? How do you pick that up and actually make sure that there is fairness in that process?
Before we go into picking it up, the South African Social Security Agency has fixed its own thresholds. If someone is able to get both a maintenance payment, le grant, which are the maintenance payment is below the threshold that has been set by SASSA, otherwise the grant would have been thrown out. So problem nyana e ka bang teng eo, just check le SASSA hore threshold ya the specific grant e ngwana hao a leng ka tlasa yona ke fe akere dia hlukana le tsona. So we must just check which system the child is under and what the threshold is for that specific system. And then when sometimes the child is still able to receive maintenance,
but it is possible to
get
assist
both.
to get both, like maintenance assisting grant to actually get the child going in the best interest of the child.
Yes, as long as the maintenance payment is below the threshold.
Okay, I believe that sound was Ausbui Tumelo actually dropping from Gomabatu. I'll get to hear from Fundo again about that. Quite very interesting. Now, there is this thing, Nepechunia, about unresolved issues. I'll keep on coming back to it, where access is equals to how much you're taking out. Is it legal to actually punish another parent with lack of access simply because there is no transaction of some kind?
No, not at all. Contact is also a right of the child. And the Kodo, Hadi Shalusa, they call it an inalienable right. And simply put is that it is a right that no one is allowed to take away.
Yes.
Now, parents misguide themselves. They think that when they are cross with the other parent, then they have a right to take the child's right away to have a relationship with their other parent. And that makes for very insensitive parenting, and also ke batswadi who do not understand the needs of a child. Remember, the child is not part of this conflict. The conflict is between the two adults. The child did not ask to be born. The child was born by the acts of the adult. Now, the parents use the child because probably a soft target or is the available weapon that the fighting parent has. But it shows a limitation in understanding of the needs of the child. Every child, I'm sure that the one that we all know very well is with adopted children. When they become 12, 13, 14, 15, they always ask, I want to know who my real parents are. Even unadopted children have got the same need. It's psychological. But we want to belong. We want to understand who we are. So when a child gets to that age, they will ask, who is my father? And they can easily turn around and be very angry with the parent that kept them away from the other parent. Sometimes it is also done through the instrumentality of grandparents. Please, bagolo, le ntate a sentse kapa mme a sentse ho sa patalwa di damage and so on and so on. Think about the child. Let the child have its two parents and then fight out taba tsa bo mahlaudisana, malobolo, the relationship or mang o cheatile mang on another level. But don't bring the child into it, because the psychologist a child that is being kept away from its other parent spends their adult life fighting the issues of their childhood. So allow your children, when they become adults, to enjoy their adult lives, not be fighting issues of their childhood. You know, let them go through the correct stages and help your children to understand who they are. And you see, sometimes you see children who become attracted to social ills, like using drugs,
Yes.
like being attracted to criminal activity, or, you know, just being social misfits. It's because they have got a gap of not having a balanced identity. Why you do papa ke mang, I do mama ke mang, why you do mama ke mang, I do papa ke mang. And they walk around with this question. It's not like a light switch that you can switch off and say, but I give you breakfast, lunch and dinner, I buy you expensive clothes,
So stop
therefore
thinking
forget
about your
you.
parent.
No. It's deeply seated in the psyche of the child. It's not a light switch that you can switch on and off. The child must just have both parents.
All right. Thank you so very much, Advocate. Boitumelo from Mabatho, le kae ausi?
Re teng re motho o no kae
Ke now re temme.
ke a leboga ke Boitumelo Gatebe mo Mabatho FM mo Mahikeng mo Northwest Province.
Welcome, Aus Boitumelo.
Now I have a situation here mo ilong gore ke na le ngwana, and the child papa gage o go di foreign country o dula ko. Now ke utlwile advocate mo ha simolla at the beginning of the show a bua gore the fathers or the parents ba ba leng ko they are beyond their reach. Kana tlhalosa jalo ga ke motlile sentle. So what I want to know ke gore a ha gona sepe se ka diriwang go change kana go tsenya di-bylaws gore ba kgone go fitlhella the father or the other parent o leng ko the foreign countries.
Is that all, Aus Boitumelo?
Yes, that is all. Thank you.
All right, please listen on the radio, and then before you respond to that one, Advocate, let's take Ntswaki o founa le Bloemfontein. Le kae o se Ntswaki?
Feteni ka inte.
Ke hantle hle mme.
Nna ne ke kopa go tsa advocate go ntate wa ngwana ha direle ngwana o direla sometimes. So the stepfather yona mo direla everything, and the stepfather ya nyala yona ne ke ka mmaji. So ke nyalla le ngwana ke ntse le ngwana sini. So ke go etsa jwang ka the real father, gore the real father a tsebe gore the stepfather is taking control mo ngwaneng. Yena o tla ha ke tse kore maybe like after 3 months o tlisa di-pampers. After 2 months o tlisa diaparo tsa ngwana kore ha metse like kgwedi le kgwedi. So ke etsa jwang gore the father a tsebe gore the stepfather o nka control o tshintsha le ngwana senini gore o take over as a father. So ke batla gore ang tlhalosetse gore the real father ena ke etsa jwang ka ena.
Ke yona fela o se Ntswaki a kare? Okay, ke lebohile haholo.
Ke kopa le email address.
Okay, we're going to distribute that email address at the end of the show. No, Ntswaki?
Okay.
All right, thank you so very much to Ntswaki Los Boitumelo. Maybe, Advocate, let me give you a chance to respond to those before I get onto the WhatsApp question that comes with something. I think, you need to get to those ones before you get to this one. It's quite a very long one.
Okay, great.
All right.
Ausi Boitumelo ko Mabatho. Ase bontate kaofela who are beyond our reach. Le ka mko re tlhalositseng, there are countries tse re sainileng le tsona the agreement. That is why it is important to know which country the father is in. Ba re sainileng le bona, there are processes tse re agreeleng ka tsona hore this is how we will help each other if we need to reach someone in your country. The problem is those countries that we have not signed in. that is where you need the 2 court orders. You get a South African court order, and then how fetsa o ya ho country in tataleng ho yona it for recognition. The competent court must recognize the South African court order, or you can go directly and go and fight the case out in the court of the foreign country. But it is important which country, because it is just, maybe let me mention this. It is a pity that most of the countries that Africa sign we have signed mainly states, the Commonwealth countries, most of the European countries, Central and Western Europe, resignile le bona, bo Australia, bo New Zealand, bo America. But our immediate neighbors, no.
Yes. Where the challenge is Africa.
Yes, so we need to intensify negotiations in that area.
That's where it questions how much do Africans take their rights seriously, and this is one of them.
Yes.
Anyway.
And then
Please, ma'am.
Yeah, the stepfather that is taking over. Stepfather, though he already knows that there is a father, I assume, in the background. So even when he steps in, you don't step in to the exclusion of everybody else. Ntate ha tlile kere hatla ho tlo interfere le lena. O tlile ho tlo tsweletsa pele relationship ya hae le ngwana. And remember, the child needs that father for his personal security, emotional security, and personal identification. I tsebe hore ke hodisa ke ntate stepfather, but so and so is my real father, and I'm allowed to visit him when I feel like. I am allowed to talk to him when I feel like, even though there is nothing wrong. And us African people should be understanding these things better than people who come from Western cultures, because ngwana wa khona ho disa you are a whole village.
Exactly.
Ngwana has wa batho ba itu. It has never happened in African culture.
Ngwana kwa morafi.
Exactly. So stepfather is welcome to raise the child. If biological father had the objection to the changing the name of the father or of the child, it's fine. It's fine. Someone has a changiwa, but do not make it an exclusive arrangement. You must shut the father out. I know people will say no, because she's married, you want to interfere with your relationship. So arrange contact with the biological father in such a way that and to discuss these things. Arrange it in such a way that it does not interfere with your relationship, and the stepfather understands that your marriage will not be under any threat if the father continues to see his child.
And then based on that arrangement, is it possible that a stepfather maybe can make an arrangement? You know that kind of culture where people will be saying, you go and officially say, restone hauliana, kinyala mutole exile ya hoele, but yano ki batlo munyala le bana ba ba. Is it possible legally?
In my own mother tongue, they say, Babaru yes, yes. The Huihapalinamani principle also. Yes, the new husband can marry a woman together with his children. But again, it is not an exclusive arrangement. It is to open up guardianship rights over those children. But remember, if it is even in our new Children's Act, 3 people, 4 people, however many people can have parental rights over one child, so that bana ba khone go gola alright in a well-rounded environment.
Parental support. that
Yes,
is, yeah.
ba kry-a support from all angles. So even if ngwana mme o nyetswe o gapilwe le namane, the biological parent should not be shut out, because ke mo di problem di thoma. Then you find this child is very negative towards the stepfather, because in his little heart or blame a stepfather for not seeing his own father. You know, then you cause unnecessary things. Auto utlwa ba re step parenting se boima kanti ke dilo tse di introducing ke rena batswadi.
Exactly.
Yes, don't make your child an angry and bitter child. You know, put issues on the table. If your partner does not like your former partner arriving at your house to pick the child up, you got sisters, you got grannies, you got where the child can be picked up and returned to. If it is a child that is old enough, biological father kana mlata ko school on Friday.
Make an arrangement.
Yes, spend a weekend with the child and return the child to school on Monday.
Yes.
As the biological father, keep a separate set of uniform for the child and a separate set of clothes for the child for the weekend. Pick the child up from the school ground, and then come Monday morning go school.
Thank you.
Then there is no contact with the new marriage, and the child gets to enjoy both worlds.
That's the voice here, the chief family advocate in the office of the family advocate. Ke advocate Mepe Junior Siabi Matope, and she's our guest tonight. Stephen from Soshanguve. Ore tshwarele morenaka ditaba di dintsi empa nako e nyane.
No, ga gona molato Stone e re ke go dumedise ke bo gape ke dumedise le mme Petunia ka mo studio.
Ahema. Ba.
Ke na le potso mo ore is there any legal recourse for a father o ileng gore ba leka go motshwarisha maintenance situation e diregang go gore papa o rile a tlhoko o rile motlhang a bereka nako na bereka ka yona a tlhokomela ngwana ga go sena bothata bjano moshomo wa fela mo tseleng mo sebakabakeng, and then mmago ngwana o bona o ka re bjanong ka gore papa o ngwana a sa bereka o nyako motshwarisha maintenance. So is there any legal recourse mo situation ya go tshwana le ewe?
Great one, Stephen. O tla utlwella mo radio ha ke re malo.
Ga gona bothata.
Hantle haholo. Thank you so very much. Advocate?
Miracle as ona the only source of income hangata kere. An investigation will be launched who lebellwe hore ntate a ka ba le di assets tse ding or other forms of income. How you maintenance fela how na le formal employment where you get a salary every month. But if you've got other means to maintain, say se lebellang ho ya ka act ke means to support. How na le di other means to support besides a regular salary, then yes, you are liable. O tshwanetse o patele maintenance. Some people are getting income from, for instance, investments.
Yes.
Somebody will get a large pension payout, for instance. You know, you don't go and squander that pension and buy BMWs and other expensive goods, support, because then the court will come after you so that you maintain the child.
All right. Brasem Motlana is a neighbor to Karavalans, and they're chilling together somewhere. Karavalans is one of the presenters of this show, and they are sitting somewhere in Acacia over there. And here's the question that they're asking. Is it automatic that because the child stays with the mother, therefore the mother does not have to pay maintenance? That's number one. Number two, if the order is out, isn't the mother obliged to contribute something monetary towards the upbringing of the child? Is it something that says, we're not daddy money, nagi mommy, take care?
I very well. Both parents of the child are liable to maintain each according to their ability.
I say half,
No.
According to the ability.
Each
Let's get
according
that
to
one
the
right.
ability. If mama has got bigger means than the father, she must contribute more and the father less. You work it out pro rata,
Yes.
so that each contributes according to their own ability to maintain. And the parent that is taking care of the child, because it is not just mothers, there are children who are living with their fathers. is also liable to contribute. So the contribution is the share of the parent that is not living with the child. Then the parent that is living with the child is contributing their share. Because
But now-
they are paying the bond, they are making sure that the child has got hot water to bathe with in the morning, they cook the child's food and so on and so on. And the danger, you see, sometimes there is a temptation to say, this child is only 4 years old, why am I paying 1,000 rand and so on and so on. And people do not realize
Putting
the
value
child
to
can need to
responsibility.
go to the doctor twice in 1 month, and that depletes that 1,000 rands.
Exactly.
The child comes back crying, Mama, ke lahlile ditlhako. Mama tshwantse tswe plan.
Lahlile buka.
Yeah, o lahlile buka, and a memo like I must not come to class without this book tomorrow morning. Mama tshwantse tswe plan. So don't look at the 1,000 rands per month that you're paying, or however much you're paying, and think it is a lot of money. Because it's money that you stretch over 30 days or 31 days per month, and also money that must adapt to the way your child is living. If they go and climb on a tree and break an arm and you must take them to the emergency room and they say, to see this child, we need a deposit of 2,000 rands. You can't run to court and say, I only have 1,000. Court officer. No.
They
the
might be
child needs
suffering
the
from a
medical
disease.
Exactly. They need the attention right there.
Yeah. But now, in this day and age where you are able to claim your returns of tax to SARS and everything, I'm going to ask it as a double prompt question here, where in many cases, the one who's paying the money would definitely have some evidence of saying, I'm contributing. But the one who's staying with the child does not give evidence of what they're doing.
Exactly.
And that's where you have a problem of saying, how do I guarantee that when are you doing something?
Yes. And the perception is actually popular that the one that lives with the child is squandering the money.
Exactly.
That the other one is paying.
But now, how do
But
we
they have no
produce
idea how
proof?
the child is living.
How do we get to produce such kind of proof to in the name of peace?
Normally, especially with the new applications, say it's a quantum, where it is determined how much the other person must pay. There will be a list to say, this is what I am spending on the child, and it sets it up nicely, because I think those forms are 9 pages long.
Sure.
But yeah, maybe when people see them, they must understand.
Lot of jargon.
There is a lot, because we tried to put in as much as possible that we can put in the form of the child's expenses. Things like Budi school excursion, which just come kanako and the child says, no, they said the excursion is going to cost 600 rands. Mehana nako ya go khoto a ilo kopa 600 rand ya excursion.
Exactly.
They must just make a plan for the child to go. Some children, Moharana, the child wants to go for swimming, and there's a swimming lesson teacher. Mwana is struggling with maths, and you need to engage extra maths lessons. Very often they do not come free. So when you live with a child, it becomes very, very difficult to prove that this is indeed what I spend on the child. I think the people that are paying maintenance should just remember it is 30 or 31 days, and then there is a child. And a child will be a child. They break, they lose. Winter, balata school jacket, 700 rand.
You know,
And then they look at you in the eye and cry.
don't we all come from there?
Exactly.
Don't we all come from there as parents? I mean, I got one who just lost the book, but anyway, it's all good. It's not about me. George, re teng le ka malome? Bua le advocate.
Advocate kgolo with this ke ne ke 36 years ke bereka NGO ke kry stipend papa ko santsa bereka but o separate la re le yena ko hae e ka tsong re nka tlima a maintenance ko papa
Anna.
so la question fela ke neng yona
Morena George,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
sorry
For himself.
Yes. I think I got it. Morana Josh, do you want to listen to the radio and then we get to answer to that one?
Yes, ke tla buela mo radio mo Pheli FM 95.1.
Yeah. Like in now, fella, advocate. As 40-something as I am, as 30-something, as 20-something, like being an adult, I'm just talking being an adult. Now, Utatako comes, that program that we normally watch, and it gets confirmed, Jorge, here's my daddy. Now, what do? Do I make him pay for all those times that he didn't pay?
No, you can't do that. But maybe also, let me say, there are adults that can claim maintenance who are able to prove a need. For instance, a person that is chronologically, say, 25 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, just chronologically, go 25 years ago.
Yes.
But they are so maybe cerebral palsied that it is not possible for them to work. Yeah. Or a mental illness and so on and so on. We know that person can never work. They will never be able to support themselves.
Yeah.
Those are the categories of adults that can claim.
While we at it, what's the time frame of paying child maintenance? Because as you're talking like that, it might not be a cerebral challenge or anything, but it might be that you're still at university. You're trying to finish your studies. But now, what determines what age do you need to say, cut off?
According to the Constitution and the Children's Act, a child is a person who is below 18 years of age. So those people that are described as children by legislation are represented by their caretakers when claims for maintenance arise. Once they go over that age, then they can bring their own applications and be able to prove a need. Like the example you mentioned, the child is still studying at university. Then they will. I think it will be easy for them to prove a need because they are not yet self-supporting. They are still studying.
All right. Advocate, lastly, so let's give a working contact where they can find you, preferably email, because, hey, you don't want your phone to be another toll-free. Yeah. So let's give an email or maybe an address where people can write to. We know you can also go into www.doj.gov.za. Otherwise, if you are able to maneuver around the website, you are able to get all the different services, right, Soli, where you can just get to see what are the issues that you might want to address. But directly so in terms of on this topic, on this issue with the family, with the Office of the Family Advocate, where do they find you?
Our global email address is National Office FA, short for Family Advocate, but all one word, at justice.gov.za. My personal email, PE, the first two letters, the Petunia, Siabi Matupe.
One word.
All one, that whole long thing.
Okay.
All one word. PECIAB Matupe at justice.gov.za. And I really do not mind people contacting me directly.
All right. PECIAB Matupe at justice.gov.za. Otherwise, the other one again?
National Office FA at justice.gov.za.
And remember, technological wise, you are able to put both of them in one line and send. So they will go to two different emails. So don't make two emails. Maybe sometimes we might assume that people know how to send emails, but let's just make sure. We can both put them there and CC another one. CC means copy to those. And if you feeling like you might have a challenge, ask for help. Kids of today, they don't need manuals. I always say that. If you have a kid and she goes to school, ask for technological help because they do know how to do these things. Your last word, Advocate?
I'm just making an appeal to you, Mzansi, to remain child-focused at all times. It is unfair on your children to fight out your personal adult battles and using your children. Let us build a good society, because the children that are caught in conflict, in parental conflict or in conflict in their homes, tend to become attracted to things like drugging and crime and so on and so on. Let us join hands, please, Mzansi, to build a future society that we all will enjoy living in. Thank you very much for having me on this program. I hope to see you at another time.
Most definitely. So very much humbled and very much appreciating of so much insight and information from Advocate Petunia Siabi Matope. She's the Chief Family Advocate in the Office of the Family Advocate. I'm told Samona and Soli, we on again next week for the last program. All right. We are going to do the last episode on this. Is it the 6th? Let me see. Yes. Next week, Thursday, we will be doing the last program on Let's Talk Justice for this year. And most definitely, we will have to so we're still going to be taking some more strength to come back with more issues to talk about, more approaches and all that. From me, Mosotho Stone, Raitumela go be le rona a be boroko.